Thank you everyone for coming to the ELLICSR Kitchen. Very excited, amazing class. We have a super guest and we have an amazing organization that we're working with today. My name is Jeremy Capone, I am the wellness chef.
And I'm Stephanie Gladman, the registered dietitian. And
this is Jessica, she is a volunteer with the Melanoma Network of Canada. I want to give her a nice warm round of applause and a thank you. For joining us today. So yes, we're working, this class is in collaboration with Melanoma Network of Canada. And Jessica, was very nice to join us today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Maybe you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Sure, yeah. My name's Jessica. I am not only a volunteer with Melanoma Network, but I'm also a patient. I was diagnosed in 2015, right after having my daughter. A mole that had been there for a long time changed, and so after finally getting it looked at, it was removed, and then I was thrust into the cancer system, and after staging, I ended up to be stage 3A. I went through a year of treatment, and now as of my last set of scans and CTs and everything, I'm clear. So now it's just watching and taking care of myself, and the Melanoma Network has been amazing, and I've touched base with them right from the beginning, and so I like to do anything possible to help them out and volunteer my time and give back to the people who really helped me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
If anyone does need any more information from the Melanoma Network of Canada, we have Charlene, representative in the back. Wave. She's here, more than happy to chat with you, and there's some information and brochures and stuff outside as well. So thank you, Jessica, for joining us.
Yeah.
Do you cook often at home?
I do.
I was gonna say the bread is ready. Yeah. The alarm's off. So you do cook at home?
I do.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm sure this is gonna be a breeze for you.
Yeah.
We prepared some recipes. We wanted to focus on batch cooking and sort of getting ahead of the game, making meals and ingredients that you can freeze and prep ahead of time, and that way it sort of saves you time. On the road.
And then from a nutrition point, going through treatment and sometimes even afterwards, you could feel really tired or not really feel like eating at all. So we've incorporated some really interesting dishes today that are high in healthier fats and proteins to really make every bite count. So in order to have more, to get what you need, doesn't always mean that you need to eat more food, but by just adding some protein and healthier fats into your dishes, you could really boost the amount of nutrients that you're getting. So that's kind of the topic that we're going to look at as we go through these various recipes.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Ready to jump into it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so for the first recipe, we're going to make a pesto. Has anyone made pesto before? Yes, some of you, maybe not. You made pesto before?
Not in a long time.
Not in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to make a pesto. The reason why we like pesto is because it is a great sort of condiment, or I remember you were saying topping, like a topping. You can sort of have on hand. For me, I love it because you can add that extra little boost of flavor.
Yeah.
But in terms of fats and stuff,
yeah,
right?
So the one that we're looking at, we're using some walnuts and oil. So this is a really great way to boost the nutrient value. Even though vegetables are great, they don't contain lots of calories. They're rich in antioxidants and fiber, but to really boost that up, and sometimes to get that carrier, we're going to add like a sauce or a dip to your vegetables. And so Jeremy created this really awesome pesto.
Yeah, and this is sort of a formula, I think, that you can follow, and then you can make swaps in and out where you see fit. So we're using parsley. We're making a nice parsley pesto today. Traditionally, it's made like the Genovese style is made with basil. You would use probably basil, but you can use cilantro. People are using kale now, which is like, cilantro is like the bad word, yes. But you can absolutely customize it to your liking. So we're gonna actually use some ancient tools here. We're kicking it old school. This is a mortar and pestle. I think do you guys recognize what this is? You have it at home. I think this is sort of being kicked out of the kitchen. Doesn't have an app connection or anything like that. It's a bowl and it's a mallet. It's very simple, but I think this makes sort of the best types of pesto. You can make this a lot quicker in a food processor, which you can do at home, and you can make bigger batches. We just want to show this version, and I want to sort of test your skill as well. So I'm going to have you sort of bash every ingredient that I put in there. So we're going to start off with some toasted walnuts. You can use any seed, nut. You can even make one without nuts and seeds if you don't want to. But we did want to highlight walnuts today.
Yeah, so including a fat into your recipes to bump up those calories is a great idea. Some people, when they hear the word fat, they're cautious, but there are healthier fats. So these are things that are found in nuts, avocados, different types of oils like olive oil, canola oil. And we need fat in our diet because it actually helps absorb some of the essential vitamins like A, B, E, and K. And it also provides energy. So walnuts are really, really great, and they're also high in omega-3s. And this is a fatty acid that our body actually can't make on its own. So we need to intake it through different foods. And walnuts are one of those plant sources of omega-3s. Flax seeds are also sources. You may have also heard of like some of the fattier fish like salmon, trout, mackerel, sardines as well. So we got some mashing.
Smells good. Yeah, so Jessica said it smells good, right?
Yeah,
so
you really smell it actually.
We're pulsing, we're smashing it to break it down. That's obviously the first reason. But we're also trying to get those oils out of the walnut. So sort of bruising it and adding force. All right, so you're not done yet, sorry. Okay. We have garlic. We're adding garlic. I toasted the garlic as well. It doesn't have to be toasted, but it's just going to give it sort of a nice, richer, smoky sort of flavor. Next ingredient, I'm going to just start chucking them in as you're going away. This one is, again, probably polarizing. You guys are either loving it or hating it. We have anchovies here. Anchovies in dishes and pestos. You may not taste the anchovy. You're not going to taste like this overly sort of fishy taste, but it's going to bring a lot of flavor. It's very high in. You may have heard me use the word umami before, that sort of savoriness, that flavor. This is like a flavor bomb. So either Parmesan cheese or anchovies are great ingredients to bring to the game. So we're going to throw those in.
And again, they're also in foods that actually are high in omega-3s also. So anchovies, even sardines are also some of those sources. And why are they important? Well, they have anti-inflammatory properties. So that's something that you really want to incorporate into your diets. And having, just to throw out the number, but 1.24 micrograms of omega-3 a day. So if you're eating, let's say, fish twice a week, like a high source of like a fattier fish, then you know you're getting enough. But of course, there are plant sources too. So having like the walnuts, flax seeds as well.
I'm adding a little bit of chili.
Just a little.
This is optional. This one is not too hot, and you can actually take the seeds out if you want to sort of tone the heat back a little bit. That's where most of the heat is contained. If you take the seeds out, especially these red chilies, you do have a really nice fruity flavor in the actual chili itself. But those are sort of those optional flavors that you can, that's looking great.
It's great.
Lemon, another one, not necessary, but it's gonna add a nice punch of flavor, and we're gonna go for the juice and the zest.
Can I just ask, what kind of chili did you use?
This is it's a Thai chili, just a red Thai chili, yeah. So it's one of your milder chilies. It's not too spicy, but you can obviously opt out for the chili if you don't like heat. There we go. The lemon's going to go in there. And again, bruising the lemon. I'm sure you can start to smell the oils from the lemon. Yeah. How are we doing there? Do you have to jump in yet? Okay, all right. Arm is sore.
And so can you do this in a blender if you
Yes,
wanted to also?
absolutely. We just wanted to make Jessica work too.
So yeah, sometimes, you know, if you're feeling tired, kind of mashing might not be the ideal way to make, but for sure it is fun. You could always get, you if you have a family or friend or someone that's, helping you out to do the hard work for you.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is nice. Someone, if let's say you're a caregiver and you do want to do something for the person you're caring for, you can set them up with this. This is a nice little gift. Stick it in their freezer, put it in their fridge. And so now I've added the herbs, and this is when you can even just so all the aggression is coming out to there. And as you're doing that, we can sort of add a little bit of olive oil.
Sure. Yeah. And so again, that's the more you add, the more healthier fats you're putting into the mix. So 1 gram of fat actually has 9 calories. So it's the largest, out of carbohydrates and protein, you're really getting lots of calories. So again, you don't have to eat more food to boost the nutritional value of whatever you're eating. You could add these sources and tailor it according to your needs.
Beautiful, yeah. So half a cup does seem like a lot of olive oil, but you're not consuming this entire thing in one batch. This recipe will actually make about 12 servings, and each serving is about 2 tablespoons. So you're looking at about 24 tablespoons worth of pesto in this. You can double, triple this recipe. I know when my mom makes it, she makes it for the year and sticks it in the freezer.
That's so good.
So you make it once. You do it once and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's good like that. So, and I want to sort of show you. So you've probably used to the traditional, very smooth or consistent or pasty type of pestos. You can do it at this point here, where it's a little more chunky, a little more rustic, and this is beautiful. This is fantastic. We can break it down even more if we want more of that smooth type of pesto, and you would just work it around just a little bit more. But we're happy with this. We're gonna go with this. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
You passed the first test.
First test.
Yeah.
Complete.
And so that's good, and then we're gonna add just a little bit of lemon juice just at the end. Some nice fresh lemon juice. And this is good to go. So pesto is done. This will last about a week in the refrigerator. Don't leave this out. There is oil, but there's also other ingredients in there that can spoil. And in the refrigerator as well, because we do have nuts and anchovies and parsley, a week is probably tops. But I always suggest using your freezer. I think your freezer is sort of your best tool, your best friend in terms of long storage, in terms of making bigger batches and then portioning them off. So with pesto, what I do is I put them into a freezer bag and flatten them out into sheets, and then you just stick them in the freezer flat. And that way you can sort of layer them on top of each other. It's not in blocks. I know the ice cube tray trick. There you go. Where you can put pesto in there as well. I just am scarred because of all the ice that was stained with pesto as a child, so I don't like that one. But the freezer bag works well, and I'll show you.
Cover it.
Yeah. So we're just sort of put it flat in a sheet.
And then you just break it off.
Yeah, and then you just snap off a piece when you need a nice little piece of pesto in your sauce, or if you need a marinade for a fish or a piece of chicken. This can be used multiple ways. Another thing which I didn't do, but I would always suggest, is label anything you stick in the freezer. The date and what it is. Because both will completely escape you, usually after you put it in. So that's always a good rule of thumb. With most products, like meat products, I would always suggest maybe 3, maybe 6 months, depending on freezer damage. I'd probably go no more than 3 months. And then for products that have a lot of water content, they'll freeze up pretty solid. They can go a little longer. They can go 6 to 9 months. But always date it. It's always a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what are we doing with this pesto? It'd be kind of weird if we just served it to you just like this. We are going to add it to some mushrooms. So we have some portobello mushrooms. And like I said, you can do this. We've done this on top of fish. It's really, really nice. We wanted to go with a veggie.
Yeah.
Pretty simple veggie today.
Yeah, so it's just a carrier. And you could also put it on top of like toast or, so just kind of thinking of it as more of that carrier that's bringing additional boost to whatever the food is you're putting it on top
Absolutely. And so this, the mushrooms we roasted ahead of time, they're big mushrooms. These are portobello mushrooms. So about 15-20 minutes in a 400-degree oven. The key with mushrooms is they contain a lot of water. So to get the flavor enhanced or to profile that mushroom flavor, we want to take as much of that water out of it. So you can do it one of two ways. Heat will take water out of mushrooms, and then salt will also take water out of mushrooms. So if you season it with, and you don't need much, just a little pinch of salt, and then a generous amount of heat, we have it at 400 degrees, it'll pull quite a bit of water out of there. So you'll notice when you take them out, you'll have some water pooling on top. You can drain that off. That's delicious. You can use that in a soup or a stock. You don't have to throw it out. But otherwise, once they're kind of like nice and golden brown, and they'll shrink quite a bit, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
So pesto on top. If you want parm, usually don't go far without having a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
And again, that's adding some protein as well.
Yeah, so I'll put a little bit. And you notice I didn't put parm in the pesto. Again, most traditional pestos will have some sort of Parmesan cheese. Again, that sort of umami, that saltiness is coming from the anchovies, so I decided to opt out.
Yeah.
But you can add it, for sure. Okay, so that is in the oven, 10 minutes. We did some ahead of time. We'll show you. And again, these can also be like made in batches and then frozen, but that's what we're looking at there.
Yeah.
So nice golden brown. That pesto sort of is kind of caramelized on top a little bit, and then a little bit of that Parmesan cheese. But that's it. That's our first recipe, the walnut lemon pesto and roasted mushrooms.